Dear children, today I am going to brief you about those plights and problems the street children have to face. Do you know the life they lead? They have to live under and work under hazardous conditions, very difficult situations. And they do not do it because they like it, but they are forced to do so. Why? You must be wondering why they are forced to do and live such a life. It's because they have to support their families. They have to support their families for making a living. The families are large. There may be only one member earning in the family. So they have to contribute in making a living, and for these reasons, they are not allowed to join schools and educate themselves like you all do. They are not so privileged. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Anis Jung, the writer of Lost Spring, comes across a few young boys. One of them is named Sahib, who had left his home long time back. He is actually from Dhaka, Bangladesh, but he has settled here in India looking for some living, and he sits in between the garbage dumps looking for some valuable items. But the question here is, why has he left his house? Because his house in Dhaka, Bangladesh, his fields, meadows, all have been carried away by storms, and there was nothing left for survival. So he had to come down to India. But Anis Chung wants to find out if he visits any school, to which he says no, because there is not a single one in his locality. Why don't you go to a school? Anis Jung asks it casually without realizing that it was such a hollow advice to ask a rag picker. That he says that there is no school in his locality, but if Anis Jung constructs and starts running a school of her own, is he going to join it? And many more like him? Of course yes. He comes running up to her within a few days asking if her school was ready. She feels embarrassed. She feels ashamed at having made such a false promise which was never going to be fulfilled. After a long span, one day she wants to find out what is the full name of Sahib. And it is ironical that his full name is Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. But luckily he does not know the full meaning of his name, and it would have been a very difficult time for him to believe that Lord of the Universe makes a living by searching for valuables in the garbage dumps. There are children who keep roaming on the streets like him without shoes and chappals and sandals. One day she calls one of them and wants to find out why doesn't he wear a shoe, to which one other boy says that probably his mother had forgotten to pick them up from the shelf and bring them. He too was wearing a mismatched pair, where he doesn't feel ashamed at all. But you should know, children, that in India it is a tradition staying barefoot. But actually it is a way of hiding your continuous state of existing poverty behind tradition. Anis Jung remembers a story from Udupi someone had once told her. In this story, there is a school-going boy who, while on his way to school, enters a temple and offers his prayer, asking for a pair of shoes. But his wish is granted after 30 years. Although the temple is in a state of ruin now, but there is a young school-going boy who is seen wearing a pair of shoes sitting on the plastic chairs at the backyard of the temple. The moral we draw from this story is that the boy is lucky enough to have got a pair of shoes, whereas there are many slum dwellers who do not even know what a pair of shoe means. So, from this story we learn that God has granted the wish of the son of the priest, although there are rag pickers who remain shoeless. Anis Jung now visits an area on the border of Delhi. The name is Simapuri, and it is occupied by 10,000 rag pickers who have come all the way from Bangladesh without visa or passport. Although it is a part of Delhi, the capital city of India, but if we compare regarding facilities, Simapuri is very far away from Delhi and its facilities. These rag pickers live in houses that are merely made up of mud, having a roof of tin or a thick heavy cloth called tarpaulin. There is no sewage, no drainage. Mane, there is no outlet for any kind of water. Water does not flow out of these houses as there is no way of it. There is no running water. But these 10,000 rag pickers who have been living there for the last 30 years without any identity, as they feel identity is not important for survival. What is important is ration cards by which they manage to buy grains. Food is more important, obviously. In tattered, that is in torn saris, a group of women say that they feel privileged to have stayed here in transit homes that can be taken from one place to another. But at least at the end of the day, they get full meal for their entire family and they are very happy to have that much only. Children also scrounge the garbage, look for important, valuable items in the garbage dumps, and it has, acquired a good meaning for them. Garbage to them is gold, a way of making a living. Children find garbage very important. They sometimes find a 1 rupee or even a 10 rupee note in the garbage dump, and this makes them feel very happy as they enjoy with it. Whereas elders, if they find such a thing in the garbage dumps, they just take it as a means of survival and add it to their earning. Children, one winter morning, Sahib is seen standing by the fenced gate of the club that is there in his neighborhood because he is enjoying looking at two young men dressed up in tennis attire playing the game. He watches it so keenly because he loves it, but actually the game is out of his reach because neither he has got the time nor money or any other access to the game. But today, Sahib is very happy wearing a pair of tennis shoes. Probably they have been thrown by somebody because there is a hole in one of the shoes. But Sahib looks very happy to have acquired that pair of tennis shoe. Now Sahib has got a job in a tea stall and he earns 800 rupees every month with all his 4 meals free a day. But does Sahib look happy other than these two facts? Of course not. He has lost his freedom as well as the bag that he carries. Till now it was quite light, whereas this time the steel can which belongs to the tea stall owner is quite heavy.